Did you guys see this? I heard it on Friday when it was happening, and I didn't get to it yesterday because of all the crazy talk that was going on. But did you guys remember seeing Donald Trump talking about what it is that he's doing with China? I mean, the latest thing he's doing with China.
Let me ask you about China, if I could. Just want to confirm, have you canceled your meeting with President Xi? And
no, I haven't canceled, but I don't know that we're going to have it. But I'm going to be there regardless, so I would assume we might have it. But, they hit the world with something that really is not anything that people are going to do. And it was shocking. I can tell you, Howard and I.
Howard and Donald Trump were shocked about what it is that China did, and what Trump did in response. Like, everyone was shocked by it. I wouldn't say everyone. Maybe people have seen the stupidity of this guy, and the way that he responds to anything is to boast and bloviate and be an idiot. So he did this. He said it's just been learned that China has taken an extraordinarily aggressive position on trade in sending an extremely hostile letter to the world, because Trump doesn't do that, stating that they were going to, effective November 1st, impose large-scale export controls on virtually every product that they make, and some not even made by them. This affects all countries without exception, and was obviously a plan devised by them years ago. It's absolutely unheard of in international trade and a moral disgrace in dealing with other nations. Pause for a second. This guy's crying on Truth Social about how some unprecedented things that China's doing with trade policies and their export controls, and it's totally a moral disgrace on the world front. The guy who literally stepped out on April 2nd with some billboards, some poster boards, and had random levels of tariffs he's putting on every country in the world except for Russia, including some uninhabited islands of penguins and seals or something. And he's going to go on here and talk about how everyone else in other countries, specifically China here, is doing some unprecedented moral dealings. Well, maybe you shouldn't have gotten involved with some immoral dealings like you've gotten yourself involved in that we're paying the price for. So more, the rest of this idiot's post. He said, based on the fact that China has taken this unprecedented position and speaking only for the USA and not other nations who were similarly threatened, starting November 1st, or sooner, depending on any further actions or changes taken by China, the U.S. will impose a tariff of 100% on China over and above any tariff that they are currently paying. He said also on November 1st, will impose export controls on any and all critical software. Isn't that weird? He just said that China is imposing these export controls, and that's completely immoral and ridiculous and crazy and a devastating thing to the world. Then he said, we will impose export controls. Okay. So at that rate, the tariffs on China are supposed to jump up to 130%. You won't be surprised to hear that China said, okay, how about we do that right back? And if you guys have heard of his trade ambassador, Jamieson Greer, because, they keep saying they're not getting involved in some trade war and that this is actually making China shake in its boots. This guy, Jamieson Greer, was over on Fox News, and he was talking about, this whole thing that's apparently not a trade war. But I want you guys to listen to who it is he said is going to be ready to fight this trade war.
Is this now a trade war with China?
Well, we'll see. It does not have to be. But we're ready to do that if necessary, and we think the American people are up to it. The reality is, China doesn't have to have this approach. We can have a balanced relationship with China, but it needs to change aspects of its economy where it produces too much, it uses unfair trading practices, and it tries to coerce everyone into doing what it wants. I think we can have a better relationship. The president and President Xi have a great relationship. We actually have good conversations with our counterparts. But we are in the middle of, finding out where each other's lines are, and we need to take this time over the next few days to see if there's a way forward. But if not, we're going to take strong action, just like the president signaled.
Jamieson Greer, if you heard it clearly, said the American people are ready for it. The American people ready for a trade war. How would that affect the American people, Jamieson? Maybe Brett Baer should have asked that. What do you mean the American people are ready for it? Which American people did you talk to that said, that we're ready for our prices to skyrocket? We're ready for trade supplies and things that come in the country to dry up and slow down more. We're ready for all of it. Matter of fact, I love that everything has gotten more expensive. This is going to be awesome. I can't wait to then suffer and pay more for the sake of Donald Trump's ego. because that's what the American people would have to do. That's what it is that he said that they're all prepared for this trade war to take part in. It's weird how the richest, most powerful people never have to deal with any of the consequences of their actions. They just lay it on everyone else's feet, widely, openly, and loudly on Fox News, where so many of these supporters are watching. Did they hear him say that? Did they hear him say anything about how Donald Trump is prepared for that trade war because he's going to have to deal in some kind of consequence or some kind of discomfort surrounding it? Never hear that. We never hear that. It's weird how we never hear that. Also, and since it's bringing folks to the table that, that genius art of the deal guy keeps saying will bring folks to the table. Spencer Hakimian said Beijing has declined a call for U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer to discuss the recent escalation in tariffs between China and the U.S. Isn't that weird? Jamieson Greer, who said he's ready for this trade war, I'm sorry, that you're ready for this trade war, isn't even getting his calls answered or ready for these discussions about this trade war. They're ignoring his ass. But as he then pointed out, don't forget, he said the American citizens are ready for that trade war. Let me read some things from this Reuters article to let you know how ready Americans are for this trade war. So President Trump's threat of this additional 100% tariffs on Chinese imports has sounded alarm bells among retail and trade experts who caution it could lead to more price increases and squeeze demand. Are we ready for that? The fresh levies set to take effect on November 1st would come as shoppers and retailers enter the holiday shopping season, a period that typically accounts for a major chunk of annual retail sales and dampen consumer sentiment, particularly among lower income households. So not just the American people, but more specifically lower income households of the American people, because who gives a damn about them, right? We're just here to pump out our chest and say we're tough guys and let everyone else pay for it. I mean, in this case, literally pay for it. Here's more from that article. The tariff threat could prompt a pull forward of shipments as retailers try to beat implementation timelines, is what Blake Harden, who's the managing director at Washington Council EY, said. But he cautioned that accelerated imports might still be hit by duties upon arrival, leading some firms to delay orders or hold shipments in China. Here's a quote. This will have ripple effects throughout the supply chain. Is that the aspect of the trade war that the United States citizens are ready for? After that all went down, Donald Trump was on Air Force One, and he was talking about his relationship with Xi Jinping and this whole threat of 130% tariffs.
Been truthing about another world leader. You said not to worry about China, but he's been putting out some tough statements in regards to your tariffs, sir. Are you planning to speak with him? When's the last time you spoke?
We're putting out tough statements because we are taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, not only from China, from other countries. We've become a wealthy country again, and the tariffs have given us diplomatic strength. They've given us negotiating strength. I settled a few of the wars just based on tariffs. I said, as an example, with India and with Pakistan, I said, if you guys want to fight a war and you have nuclear weapons, I'm going to put big tariffs on you both, like 100%, 150, and 200%. No, don't do that. I said, I'm putting tariffs. I had that thing settled in 24 hours. If I didn't have tariffs, you could have never settled that war. You do that better than anybody, McGee.
First more tariffs on China. Are you considering walking that back?
Who are you with?
Politico, Dasha Burns, sir.
Dasha Politico. Politico's gone bad. They've been so wrong about everything. Politico has been so wrong about everything. Let's get somebody else to ask some questions. You mind? Is that all right? Because Politico is fake news.
Do you plan on meeting with Xi now when you go to Asia in a couple of weeks?
Well, you saw the statement I put out that he had a bad day. Right. And I think we're going to be fine with China. Look, I have a great relationship with President Xi. He's a very tough man. He's a very smart man. He's a great leader for their country. He's a great leader. And I have a great relationship with him. I think we'll get it set. I know what happened. I really understand what happened. And I'm not even saying he's wrong. But then we met him with something much tougher than what he did to us. Again, because of the tariffs, it's much tougher.
If you only listen to Donald Trump, which is what he wants you to do, you would be led to believe that Xi Jinping was like, oh, my bad, I'm sorry, let's talk. What Donald Trump did was he just started folding. He said, I understand, he just had a bad day. In other words, I'm not sticking behind those threats that I made. But as he doesn't stick behind those threats that he made and he continues with his back and forth, it's why they call him Chicken Taco, because the guy keeps making threats. Then after he makes those threats, there's a response. There's little tidbits of reality and truth in the things that he says, but as those bits are in the middle of this huge, like, amoeba of lies. So as he's talking about how this whole thing went down, she just had a bad day, and then as you see, he's coming to the table and somehow gets on some tangents about other wars that he didn't actually stop based off of his tariffs that are destroying the economy. It's just a hodgepodge of stupid shit. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but as long as he gets a chance to keep spieling off a bunch of idiotic information, he thinks he's getting somewhere. You notice that Politico reporter who asked him one too many questions, and that being two? Politico's fake news now. When are we going to stop? When are we going to stop respecting this guy?